Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning.
Yeah.
We made it, folks. It's Friday. It is Matthews in the Morning coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there at Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. It's getting cold outside, folks. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is your number one local HVAC company. Give them a call. Comfort is their business. Peace of mind is their promise. Today's program will consist of JC. We'll do some Peachland Dental picks, and then we'll have Graham Hall. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on in the world of Gator sports. A lot going on. JC, good morning. You're on the Titan Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. What's up?
Hey, man. Well, we had a big hailstorm here last night. Kept me up the whole night, but I survived it. Went to a hockey game, saw an exciting game between the Dallas Stars and the LA Kings. The Kings won 3-2 in overtime. And just going through the show that I had yesterday with Zach on Win with JC, and was happy enough to provide and have the LA Chargers, who blew out the and there goes my daughter after Pilates. Look at her. There she goes. You want to come on here and show everybody that you're awake? Courtney. But yeah, saw the Chargers beat up on the Vikings, laid the 3 last night. Pretty easy rocking chair win. Reading all of the X tweets from the Ole Miss fan base, you are public enemy number 1, QB. Yes, you are.
I've done nothing wrong, and they know my love for the ribs. Okay.
Well, no, I listen. You are telling it like it is, and what you want to see, and what you do see, and to me, it's very enlightening. I like having discussions that are not as hypothetical as we want them to be, but have some conviction behind them. You know, if we believe something's going to happen, we're going to say it. We're going to back it up with what we believe to be the facts. And that is what we've done here with this. You know, to me, I've heard 3 names, basically. There was one that emerged yesterday from this area. I don't know how much credence you put into it, because you're all in on Lane Kiffin to be the coach of the Florida Fighting Gators. But Rhett Lashley's name has also been tossed around from this area. But I think I'm with you on this one. They're going to ask him, and whether or not he says yes or no, only he knows. But I saw a report yesterday, QB, and I've got to get your call on this, your opinion on this, from Gator Bait Magazine, Buddy Martin's publication that he owns. Franz Beard coming in and saying flat out that the University of Florida has offered Lane Kiffin $13.5 million. Now, if that's the case, why would they do that now and a day and a half before, or 2 days before the Oklahoma-Mississippi game in the middle of the season like this? It doesn't seem realistic to me, but he's going with what he's going with.
Yeah, I don't know the timing. I don't know. I guess look, I didn't go to journalism school. You did. You know what journalism's all about. When you're supposed to break stories, or if you have a story, do you break? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not into that business. I'm on here to talk ball from my perspective, give my opinion. I don't know what's right or wrong for that kind of stuff. I do know that we are going to make a huge offer to Lane. I don't know when or if it's been done. It's going to happen, and I think he's going to take it.
Well, I would say, since you brought that up, that the only way I would come out publicly with that at a time like this is if I talk to one of 2 people, because to me, only one of 2 people know, Scott Strickland or Jimmy Sexton. And unless I heard directly from them or talked to them and they said, yes, indeed, the University of Florida has come forward with a $13.5 million offer, I'm not going to just throw it out there. Now, I didn't read the piece. I didn't read the article that Franz wrote. And if he's going with it and he's feeling good about it, then at least we know that the one thing that you said had to happen happened. And that is that they at least offered him, because that means that the University of Florida—
That's all that matters. That's all that matters to me.
Is serious about a football program. But honest to God, there's only 2 people that would be able to tell him if that indeed was the case. Otherwise, it's just hearsay. And that is Jimmy Sexton and or Scott Strickland.
Okay, I want you to answer this, and I'm going to answer this, JC.
I mean, he didn't quote them in that, did he? In that piece, I didn't read
Who?
it. Friends, he
Quote
didn't
who?
quote Jimmy Sexton or like
No, I
or
don't think so. I don't know. I didn't. I just saw it. People text it to me. 31 Ember says this, JC. You listen to this. You tell me what you tell me first, then I'm going to answer. He says,
sure.
Shane. He says you invested a lot in your reputation into saying Lane is coming to you out. Will you and your show if it do, will you end your show if it doesn't happen?
Hell no.
First of all, first of all, it has nothing to do with my reputation.
No, it's telling people what you believe to be
What I believe and why I think he will take the job. I've said it multiple times, and I tried to explain to my damn Ole Miss people. I do have some sensitive, I mean, some people, some Ole Miss people that say, look, you are correct. There is no comparison. We are very good right now because Lane is our coach. That changes immediately when Lane leaves. Here's what I will tell you. Lane Kiffin is not going to retire as an Ole Miss Rebel. That is not going to happen. He will move, he will leave at some point, right?
right. Yeah, no,
Yes.
either but the
So that
reputation.
has nothing to do with my show
No,
or my reputation.
but
I'm just giving facts.
yes, we're just talking podcasts of what we believe to be true. That's different than what I just talked about with Franz Beard. He is putting his reputation out there, publicly saying what indeed happened.
Right.
All you're saying is this is what I think will happen. This is
Well,
why it will
I
happen.
say it because I know people that know Lane. I
It's
know
just
how Lane operates because I know how great coaches' minds think. That's what the average person doesn't understand. Coaches, like I have a friend that calls it coach world or coach land. Like, for example, JC, you know Coach Spurrier pretty well.
yep.
He's not like the average human being,
No,
is he? No,
he is who he is.
no. Here's one of my favorite stories. This tells you how coaches live in like a different world.
Yes,
This was like a year ago, JC.
yes,
Coach still drives a car from like Davis Chevrolet, right?
yes, yes.
Coach tells an assistant, this light is on in my car. The assistant goes down, looks at the light. Coach needs an oil change. Coach didn't know what to do about the oil change, so the assistant goes and gets the oil change. That's the coach's world. They don't do the average stuff. They don't go to Publix and buy groceries.
That's why they say,
Lane has never been to Kroger in Oxford. I can promise you that.
that's
That,
why
they think differently. They are in a different world.
they are. It's 24/7 consumption of football. That's why coaches' wives like say Miss Terry or
Miss Jerry,
Miss Jerry, absolutely, or
God bless them.
Shelly Meyer, people like that.
It takes a different human being.
Absolutely, but they buy into that lifestyle and they love it because they get a lot from it. It creates it. Listen, well, I think what you've done is outstanding because what I think is important is that we go on this show and we tell people exactly where we're coming from and why. We don't break news stories and things like that because, frankly, nobody's calling me to tell me what, hey, man, I got a news flash for you. I wouldn't know if I would believe it or not if they did, depending on who it was and depending on what the subject was. But you're right about coaches, man. That is a different world. It is 24/7. And the money they make, it has to be QB. They make more money than surgeons for the most part. It has to be that way. So I 100% agree with you. Here's Ember again. Love 31 Ember. He's one of our best listeners and viewers. He says, I'm still concerned with Lane. Now, you're going to jump on this one, but I'm still concerned with Lane's record versus ranked teams.
I did I break that down the other day?
Yes.
There's three coaches in the SEC that have a over 500 record. There's one in the ACC. There's zero in the Big 12.
And there's three
there's
three
in the Big 10.
And there's three who've won national titles.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah, that does not bother me one bit. Because there's not a coach you can find that has that record that's going to leave that school that they're at right now. This text from Rick on Jupiter on the Titan Mar text line. QB, my take on the Buddy Martin situation is why crucify a journalist for reporting the news. On the other hand, it was just hearsay and reported as if it was fact. Your take. Like I said, I'm not a journalist.
I just went through that.
I don't, I mean, that's what they believe. They have a story, they have a source, and they're going with it.
Well, listen, I mean, God bless him if he's right. But the only way it's true is if you hear from two people. or 3. If Lane calls you and says, yeah, they made me an offer, if Scott Strickland says, yes, we've done that, or if Jimmy Sexton says, yes, I've received an offer from the University of Florida, that is it. That's the only way it's true. That's the only way you know it's true. Okay. That's the only way you know it's true, because people can tell you, man, I'm certain that this, that, and the other. It really does come down to what your sources are. So some folks got very upset with Buddy Martin being the owner of GatorBait, allowing that to come out at that specific time because the timing was ill-advised, let's say. But we do have a culture in the media, and I don't know how much of that is true today because of social media, but there's a culture in the media that says, if you're first to the story, or if you're first to break the story, your credibility is instantly elevated to the top of the world. And that, to me, is not as important as making sure you are exactly right with what you're saying out there. Otherwise, you're just spreading bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're here to see or do. What you and I do out here is come off the hip and say, this is what we hope and think is going to happen. But again, we're not breaking stories, because believe me, when I get off this show, I'm going to go work out and that kind of thing. I'm not going to get on the phone trying to
these guys sit on the
who's
phone.
in an airplane. Yeah. Who's in an airplane flying to Ole Miss or Oklahoma today and Gainesville tomorrow? I'm not doing that.
All right. So 31 in Burr says Lane's record is 331. Okay. Let me back up. Listen, this is year 6. Let's not forget, for the last 10 years, we had an East and a West division. The West was Murderer's Row.
Yes.
Let's not forget, he's still coaching Ole Miss. He's not coaching LSU. He's not coaching Auburn. He's not coaching Alabama. He's not coaching at Texas A&M. All those teams that were in the SEC West.
This is why they hate you over there, QB.
I know it is, but it's a fact. That's the thing. That's what I told this guy last night. I usually don't respond, but I did respond to one guy. I was like, dude, don't even start with me, because I don't care about how much money your endowment has. We have a big endowment here, but the brands aren't comparable. And yes, I've been to Oxford multiple times since I was a kid. I've been in the Manning Center. I've sat in the damn stadium waiting for Morgan Wallen to walk out. He didn't walk out. I've stayed at multiple friends who have homes in Oxford. So he's completely false. That's what these people, they're false.
Yeah, they're hoping, and they're not really knowing.
They're on pins and needles, because they know deep down that he's hauling ass at some point. We don't know when.
UF Gators, UF tough loss for the Stars last night, JC. Yes. Hey, here's the guy. We're
not going to talk hockey. We got other stuff.
I know. I'm just reading the YouTubes, QB. Everybody wants to chime in. It's great participation. Where do you get your hats? I got this one at the Rally House. Who is this, QB?
That would be the Mean Green.
There you go.
Electronics World, integration design specialist for smart home automation and entertainment. If you want to watch the Mean Green, call Electronics World. And let them also bring the Florida Gators to your TVs, college football.
We need
electronicsworld.net.
We need coaching changes to get your energy levels flying, because you are on fire this week.
No, look, we have a chance to put us on the map
again.
Relevant.
All right.
As soon as this happens right here, JC, watch. Can you see? As soon as that happens, we're back.
We're back to relevancy.
We're
and that's
back.
One thing I think Florida fans, including yourself and many, really want to see. No more of these, who the trendy guy is hired. We got to get not just maybe the trendy guy, but the guy with the right qualifications, in my mind, to bring back that relevancy of Florida football, because it has been in the dumpster, and it's coming out if they bring this guy on board, because he's a winner, man. 41-14 since 2001. All right. That's his record at Mississippi. Look, it's not easy to win at Alabama. It's not easy to win at Georgia, LSU, and so forth. But again, at Ole Miss, when you're 41-14, you're going to do all you can to say, hands off my man. And unfortunately, the world that we live in today is changing very quickly. This college football landscape changes very quickly with who's relevant and who's not. But Florida needs to get in the mix and get that respect back. And that's what he's going to bring when he brings the right players here, when he brings the right playbook, when he brings the right coaches. And this program wakes up from its 17-year slumber. Okay, that's what we've been in here at Florida. And it's going to be great, because Gainesville is going to come back on the map when this happens. I'm buying in just like you, QB. I'm all in. I'm all in on this guy. I believe in him. He's young. What is he, 50 now, QB?
50, yeah.
Yeah, 50. My goodness. He's got 10 good years, maybe 20 good years left in him if he wants it. Money is not an issue for he or his family. It's going to come down to, is that the place I'm going to put my foot or my flag in the ground as one of the all-time greats? It could be. It could very well be. And we'll see if it happens. I hope it does.
All right, JC, let's switch gears to the Peachland Dental. Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. We're going to do a little Peachland Dental picks, little fun picks over the games this weekend. What you got?
All right, my man, here we go. It's time for the Week 9 Peachland Dental. Last night, as I said, we had the Chargers -3. If you caught that on Win with JC, you're a happy person. We had the Niners. We got the Niners against the Houston Texans, the Bengals against the Jets, and the Eagles versus the Giants against the number in the NFL. In college football, since I am indeed in North Texas, the Mean Green had a terrible loss against South Florida that pretty much took them out of the group of 5 discussion, but not completely mathematically out. They are playing North Carolina, Charlotte. And I'm going to ask you to pick this game with me, QB, because I'm here. I'm going to give you a number. The Charlotte 49ers, not the San Francisco 49ers, Charlotte 49ers, 5-18, 21% against the spread in their last 23 home games, and they are hosting North Texas, getting 25.5 points. And I think North Texas will score 55 by themselves and cover that game. I think that's a layup. Who do you got?
That's a lot of points to lay on the road, though, isn't it?
Well, again, their number at home for Charlotte is abysmal, 21%. So
yeah, I like North Texas a lot.
Okay.
Their coach is the next hot guy. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one. I think they're very happy with him, and he'll get a good job. Maybe
Eric Morris. He coached back in the day on the Texas Tech staff when Mahomes and that crew was there. I think he coached at Incarnate Word, where they put up the quarterbacks put up huge numbers. But yeah, give me the Mean Green, because Charlotte is a mess. They just fired Mike Hill, who was the former assistant athletic director here at UF that had been there for 5 or 6 years. I don't know what's going on in Charlotte, but give me the Mean Green.
Maybe this coach at North Texas will take the vacant Mississippi job. Mississippi is, speaking of Mississippi and Lane.
Real quick, you just said that. I had multiple people here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. They said, if Lane leaves, do you think Jeff Levy will get the Ole Miss job? Boy, I don't know how that would work.
Boy, they would go nuts.
Here's the thing is, like, the people, look, Florida State, Florida, Miami, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, the fan bases don't like each other. JC, I don't think people understand the hatred, because some of these things that I get when I'm bored and I read these Facebook and these YouTube comments when I'm reading here from these Ole Miss people, they're all, everything is directed at Scott Strickland because he's a Mississippi State guy. They're like, your AD does not understand what we're all about. I'm like, I am not worried about our AD right now. I'm just looking the best coach for our job.
That's right. The AD will be gone.
But they freaking hate each other, dude.
No, it's true. This is a cannibalistic conference, and that's what makes it. That's why it just means more. Oklahoma is at home. Actually, we're talking about Lane Kiffin a lot. Mississippi, they're up there in Norman, about 2.5 hours north of me right now, and Mississippi's catching 5. They got a hell of a game last week against Georgia. Meanwhile, Oklahoma had a rocking chair win against South Carolina. I think Oklahoma's going to cover this number, and I don't want anybody on Monday to come back and say, man, he's lost his last 2 games against ranked teams. Why are we hiring? That's what they're going to say. You know that's what they're going to say.
I could care less.
I know.
I don't care if they lost to Buchholz.
I'm taking OU anyway.
I like OU at home because I do think Oklahoma has the best defense in the state. I mean, in the conference.
Yeah, they're better than Tulsa. They are. They're better than Okie State. They're better than Okie State, too. They're better.
Speaking of Oklahoma State, what in the hell is wrong with that place?
Absolute disaster.
So anyway, I think Oklahoma wins. I think they cover against Ole Miss.
Here's another game with 2 guys desperately trying to hold on to jobs. I think Bobby Petrino really wants to stay at Arkansas. It gives him relevancy, as we said. Auburn, Hugh Freeze is over there begging the administration to give him a vote of confidence. I've never heard anything like that before, where it comes from the coach and not from the AD. Auburn, though, is catching 3.5. This team is 0-4 in the SEC and could easily be 3-1. Easily. I think they're a talented team, and they've got too much talent for Arkansas. But this is a sneaky game when you're getting a 3.5 at home. I'm going to take Auburn, but I hate it. I hate that.
I'm going to take the Hogs because the Hogs can
I hope
score,
you're
even
right.
though Auburn's very good on defense.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna
I don't like
I'm
that.
gonna take the Hogs. Real quick, Nathaniel says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Damn shame for 4 years you cursed me out when I said Napier's offense ain't cutting it. What happened? I have no idea what you're referring to.
Well, I guess, back in the days that he was starting as coach here, he was saying this guy sucks. We'll know it eventually when he's fired, and that's what happened. That's all I can think of. That's all I can think of. Maybe that's I don't know. Look, we're always willing to give the guy who's leading the program the benefit of the doubt at the beginning, but then over time we see what happens. Okay, Alabama is 11.5. This is their 5th straight game in successive weeks. South Carolina looked awful. Sellers has not transpired into the guy that they thought he would be, and Shane Beamer's catching flack from the Gamecock fan base, if you can believe that. Alabama's laying, though, 11.5 on the road in the SEC. Do you have a – now, remember, you're doing the points here, QB.
Who is Alabama playing again?
South Carolina. And Beamer
I love Alabama. I think South Carolina's a bad football team.
The thing is, it's 11.5 points.
I don't care. I think they win by 17. I didn't think South Carolina was very good last year, and they ain't very good this year.
All right, I'm with you. Here's a great game. This is one of my best plays from yesterday's show. Vanderbilt laying 2.5 to Eli's boys at Missouri. Good little football team that he has up in Columbia. And these two teams are playing for the ability to still say we have a playoff resume.
Yeah.
Vandy 2.5 point favorites. I'm sticking with Diego. I just believe in him. I trust in him. I love Missouri as a team, though. It's a good, scrappy team. But I think Vandy, this is special right now, what they got going on. Clark Lee's doing a great job. I'm taking
Yeah,
Vandy.
this is a loser leave town kind of match.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the home team, and they have a lot of momentum. The stadium probably will never be the same as it will
Game
be.
day. Yeah,
I'm gonna take the Commodes.
They have game day there. It's no longer a neutral or visiting team's home field. Texas, what the hell? QB, the numbers from Texas last week against Kentucky. Arch, I think, had 100-something yards passing.
They couldn't run the ball either, though.
They can't run the ball. Sark has got to be pulling his hair out.
Because I'm telling you right now, that offensive line, they just had a miracle against OU, in my opinion.
Well,
they still only have one loss in the league. We forget about that.
That's right. They're still alive too, and they've got an easy
I'm picking Mississippi State. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but I think they keep it close.
Okay, they're getting 6.5. I think Texas beats up on State, but I hope State wins, and I hope I'll lose that bet. Texas A&M minus 2.5. LSU. Here's another one where you have a guy at the top right now at his school with Elko. They love him. And you have LSU with Brian Kelly trying to figure out why the hell did we hire this guy? They are so deep into the pockets right now, or Kelly is into LSU's pockets. The buyout is unbelievable. I can't see LSU opening up. I know that they have to win these games, but that's what, 80, 75?
You like trends, right?
I'm a trend guy. Yeah.
You know the home teams won this like the last 8 years.
Okay, so what I said yesterday and what I believe to be the case is LSU will somehow win this game at night at home. So I'm going
to go with the better football team, even though the home team usually wins. I'm sticking with the Ags.
What is it? You just don't like their offense, do you? You just can't.
I love Garrett Nussmeier. I don't know what the hell's going on. I know he's hurt with an ab injury and a knee injury, but
yeah,
LSU was not as athletic. Dude, when you used to see those dudes in those gold helmets, gold pants, dudes everywhere.
Incredible.
You don't have those dudes anymore.
Well,
I don't care what the ratings and the rankings and all that say. My eyes tell me they don't have the same dudes.
That's crazy because that's why Brian Kelly left Notre Dame to go to LSU to get those dudes. And I guess you're saying those dudes ain't coming. That total was 47.5 where I got it before I left Florida. It's gone up to 49.5. We're looking at a lot of points.
Interesting.
Tennessee laying 8.5 at Kentucky. They got a very physical game with Alabama last weekend, and Joey Aguilar, he hurt his neck a little bit. He wasn't comfortable in that game. Kentucky's physical, but they simply can't score. I'm taking Tennessee minus 8.5. I hate Kentucky. I just hate Kentucky.
This game's obviously in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, it is. They can cover that.
I'll go with the Vols. Yeah. I think they can score.
Yeah,
I'll take the Vols.
Tennessee's got a much more potent offense. I'll just say that. They are 14-4 against the spread overall versus Kentucky, including a 9-1 against the spread surge in Lexington. Tennessee loves to play in Lexington. A couple quick ones here as we race through this first half hour before you get Graham on. South Florida laying 6.5 to Memphis. It was 4.5. I don't know how that number went up to 6.5. That's too much. I'm taking Memphis at home.
Is this game Memphis is playing in the Liberty Bowl?
Yeah, it's in the Liberty Bowl.
Oh yeah, I'll take the Tigers at home.
But
they had no business losing to UAB.
If Memphis wins this game, that brings North Texas back into the fold in that conference anyway. UCLA minus 25 against Indiana. It's a lot of points. I like UCLA and Jerry Neuheisel calling the plays. Got a call there?
How many is Indiana giving?
25.5, man. Jeez, I'm taking the points. They won't.
They have to play down to their competition at some point, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I will.
And then
I'll take them.
And then quickly, I think I have something where it showed that Illinois against the spread is really good. Oh, Illinois is at Washington, and Illinois is damn it, here it is. 17-5 against the spread in road games since 2021. 17-5 in road games. They're only getting 4.5, and I don't think that's going to be enough. I think Washington will beat them by more than 4.5. Who do you have?
Who's Washington playing?
Illinois. That's who I'm talking about. Illinois.
In Champaign?
No, in Seattle.
Oh.
They are.
That damn Pac-12. I mean, you don't just tell me who's playing at home, and I'd rather have them. I'll take the Huskies.
All right.
Big Big Ten teams can't handle the travel. They really can't. All right, JC, real quick. We got a bunch of people here. Brought to you by Quality Plumbing chiming in. They say if Lane or the new coach comes in, do I think Ron Roberts and Jalou stay? I doubt it. People forget coaches have people they want to work with.
Brings in
not saying that those guys are not good coaches because they are, but they don't have relationships. They may not have the same philosophy as the new head coach. There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, I think when you bring in your own staff, I think everybody knows that when they're on a staff that the head guy gets whacked, the for sale sign needs to get up in the yard.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if anyone. Now I'm talking about just the actual coaches, not the analysts and all that stuff. But I would be surprised if any of these guys are on the staff next year.
Steve Spurrier Jr. just moved in next door to me as a renter. And I'm going to go ask him to play golf at some point here going forward, but he's going to be on the field being a coach, and he's busy. And I'm going to ask him, I'll say, dude, what's it like to be bumping around, renting houses everywhere you go? It seems like you travel a lot. And so that's a tough.
Well, he hasn't traveled a lot. He was at OU a long time. He was at Washington State a long time.
South Carolina, he went to Arizona. He went to a lot of places. But I'm looking forward to seeing him.
That's the life of a coach.
It's the life of that's what I was going to say. That is
real quick. This day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. World Series in 1992. You know who played in that, JC?
1992. I do, but I can't recall off the top of my head. Sorry.
Well, then you don't know.
That's a great point. Right now, off the top of my head, I don't know.
One of the teams is playing tonight.
Oh, well, it has to be the Dodgers. Oh, no, the Blue Jays.
The Toronto Blue Jays beat the Atlanta Braves 4-3 in Game 6 at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium to win their first title.
Okay, real quick.
You know who the MVP was?
Joe Carter.
It was Pat Borders.
So Joe Carter. All right, MVP props. Mookie Betts 18-1, love that. Freddie Freeman 9-1, love that. And if you want to take the Dodgers to sweep 18,
they're not going to sweep them.
No, I don't think so.
The Blue Jays hit the ball too well.
I'll tell you what, this pitcher for Toronto is incredible. Starting in Single A at the beginning of this year, and now pitching the World Series. What's his name? Versace or something? Hell, I don't know. I can just tell you that Toronto is really pulled it out. They were down 2-0 against the Mariners. Won 4 out of the next 6 games, or 4 out of the next 5 games. Incredible.
All right, JC, have a great weekend.
All right, you too, man. We'll do it. We'll see you Monday. Be back in Florida on Monday. And
JC, don't break any stories while you're out there.
That's right. I'm looking forward to hearing what happens over the weekend, but lots of good games, you guys. Good luck with your bets, and good luck with your weekend. And enjoy the open date, Florida, Georgia, next week.
That's JC joins us on the Titan More Highline courtesy of Comfort Temp Quick Timeout. Come back. We'll be joined by Graham Hall from 24/7 Sports. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back. Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, UF Health Orthopedics. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker's Sports, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, and MG&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you want to advertise, give my man Freddie a call at 352-284-3733.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football.
Let's go.
We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Florida Crackers are a brand for original Floridians. Great food and southern hospitality in the center of the universe. Brooksville, Florida. FloridaCracker.com. Back to the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Our man Graham Hall from 247 Sports, not 24/7 Sports. I think I said that right. Graham, good morning. How you doing? Is it 247 or 24/7?
I tell people they can call it whatever they want. We say
Yeah.
247 Sports, but before I joined, I was calling it 24/7. It seems like it's 24/7 because we're expected to, be
Stay
on it
awake all day.
24/7, Yeah. So I do find a chance to get to sleep a little bit, but 247, 24/7, whatever you want to call it, I'm not going to correct anyone out there.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. Let's jump. We'll say football for a minute, but we got a bunch of texts here on the Titan More text line. This one's from Jimmy. He wants your thoughts on what's going on with Kevin O'Sullivan. Will he be back as the Gator coach?
Yeah, he'll be back. Give him his privacy and support a guy who, honestly, let me say this. I encourage in this day and age, if you're a college head coach, especially regardless, baseball, basketball, football, take some time off, man. Decompress a little bit, especially when you've been doing it for 18 years the way that he has. Take some time off, be with your family. You're going to regret not doing it later in life. That's my old head perspective right there. He'll be back though. I'm sure he's dealing with some personal, family, maybe health related matter, and he'll be back later this fall from what I've heard.
All right. Text here on the Titan More text line also says, good morning. You may have discussed this and I missed it. How realistic is it for an offensive staff to introduce a new scheme in the middle of the season? Can it be done effectively? If you were Billy G, what changes, if any, would you prioritize in order to get 6 or 7 wins? no scheme is going to be changed. Look, I tell people this all the time. Everybody in America has the same pass plays and run plays. You got a big ass playbook. It's just have you called them and knowing when to call them. If I'm Billy Gonzalez, I said this the other day, I'm running fake punts, I'm running double reverses, I'm running double pass, I'm doing unorthodox stuff because I'm not going to be the coach. So why not try something crazy, especially against Georgia? They don't know what to expect. Graham, tell us what you're hearing. I mean, they're not going to change the offense. You may see different personnel groupings and things of that nature, but you can't go in there and just put in new ball plays.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, they're not going to have this wholesale change. If you're hoping for that, I hate to disappoint you. I think there's a chance that offensively Florida could be more explosive. They obviously have a ton of plays that they have implemented in their arsenal that they haven't used. It's not like you've seen every single thing out there. And for Billy Gonzalez, maybe he's, more intentional to I hope we see some four wide receiver sets. I know you've been calling for that as well. Maybe a little less 12 personnel, but you're not going to see wholesale changes here necessarily. I think there's a chance again that they could be more explosive, but anyone hoping for anything to be massively different, yeah, you're going to be disappointed. I think the real, purpose of making a change at the bye week is to decompress. These guys have been through a lot. A lot of guys in that locker room, most of the guys in the locker room, or they may have seen it coming, but that doesn't make it any less disappointing for them. And if you were to make a change and then have to prepare for a game, you're setting yourself up for failure there. So I think that that's the purpose of doing it before the bye week here. It's not to institute a brand new scheme. So again, I can't say it enough. You're not going to see a ton of things different, but personnel groupings may change. I would expect them to, honestly, here. And we'll see what, Ryan O'Hara can do. Ryan O'Hara is a great guy. I think he's awesome. I think he's got an awesome story. I hope, Florida fans can rally around him. But and if the offense can be more explosive, that would be very impressive. It would also honestly be further indictment of Billy Napier.
Yeah. Andy's question is on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. Graham, it seems like most of our recruits are sticking with their quote commitments. Do you think the new coach will have a significant impact?
Yeah, I mean, I think that anytime you get a new coach, especially if they come from a Power Four program, they're probably going to try to bring some of the top players that they recruited and landed elsewhere, and they'll want to change up the roster a good bit. You'll see more shuffling in the transfer portal, especially with someone like Lane Kiffin, who you look at the job that he's done in Oxford, extremely reliant on the transfer portal. The last 4 years, he's had a top 5 transfer class according to 247 Sports. He's, landed the number 1 transfer class in 2024. The years previous were really impressive portal classes. That would be the emphasis, which would lead to more roster turnover than you would expect. But kudos to this class for sticking together, for staying committed in this day and age where you could hop out and look what your options are elsewhere. And, they're going to take visits. They're going to do their due diligence. Why wouldn't they? It's the biggest decision of their life. But staying committed right now to the University of Florida, I think, speaks extremely highly of the program, the logo, the patch, like Billy Gonzalez said. That's not changing with a coach. This is still a desirable place for recruits to want to be. And I think it's impressive that they've all stuck together. It speaks to the camaraderie of the class too, how well guys get along with each other and have talked behind the scenes, and they're willing to be patient in this era where you really have no desire or obligation to be patient at this time when you make a coaching change. So kudos to them for sure.
Yeah, Graham, there's been a lot of conversation ever since Coach Gonzalez took over, some confusion, I should say. Can you clear it up? Because people have asked me, and I'm not even still clear of it. Ryan O'Hara is actually calling the plays. He's going to have the sheet, the Waffle House sheet, right? And he's going to call every play. Is that how you understand it?
Yeah, there's some confusion there, certainly. I think that is what I expect. Now, Russ Callaway is going to be heavily involved in what is on that sheet. And I think that there's going to be coordination between, Rob Sale and Jabbar Jalouk and Russ Callaway. But Ryan O'Hara is going to be the guy in DJ Lagway's face. He's going to be the voice in his ear. So I guess it comes down to the semantics of calling the plays. He's going to be vocalizing the plays to DJ Lagway. Now, is it going to be solely his decision? I can't answer that, certainly. I'm not the one in the coaches' meetings. I do think that they're going to continue to take a collective effort rather than put all the responsibility on a guy like Ryan O'Hara, which is no disrespect to him whatsoever, of course.
No, it's just interesting to me because, I've heard so many different things, and I try to go by my experience of all the years I played, all the meetings I sat in, when I coached. The offensive staff meets. All the position coaches in there, they're watching tape, they're rewinding. Okay, what do you think we should do here against this look that Oklahoma gives us or whatever? And they're all taking notes and they put that all together. They come up with a plan. But when the plan is, it could be 100 plays, right? They may say, let's just take these 10 plays out. So now we're down to 90 plays. And they put them in their little boxes for 3rd and 4 to 6, 3rd and 8 to 12, whatever, our best short yardage runs. But then when it's all said and done, the guy that's actually making the decisions in 20 or 30 seconds to call that play, he's the guy calling the plays. He may say, okay, hey, it's 3rd and 6 here. We're probably going to go for it. So Rob, get your best 4th and 1 play ready. He may say that on the headset. So that's why I think there's so much confusion because there was somebody that said that Russ Callaway was scripting the first 10 or 15 plays. I don't believe that because the play caller has to be the guy that scripts it because he's the one. And plus, a script doesn't always go. You don't ever put 3rd and 1s on your script. It's always just first down plays. So anyway, everybody's been asking me. I don't really know the answer. I firmly believe that Ryan O'Hara is the guy going to call the play, make the decisions, and he will be communicating to DJ and telling him what the play is. So anyway.
Yeah, that's what I understand as well. And, there's a reason for optimism because Ryan O'Hara did that exact same role during the spring game with the Orange team offense
Right.
when, Harrison Bailey went out and had 300 plus yards and Florida was really successful offensively. So that should be the reason for optimism that if he's making better decisions and calling the plays, that it could lead Florida to be more explosive, not a change in scheme or anything like that.
Yeah. Text here on the Titan Mar text line from George. George wants to know, Graham, right now, do you have any breaking news or who do you think the next coach is going to be?
Oh, man. No, I don't have. Here's the breaking news. Most of what you see on social media is crap right now. Florida did not hire a search firm to 5 days later have an offer on the table for a specific coach. Let me just make that abundantly clear. And that's no disrespect to fans, media, anyone whatsoever, but take everything you see with a grain of salt right now. This is not going to be a situation where someone is hired October 24th, right after a change. That's the breaking news. And if you thought otherwise, I hate to disappoint you, but you're going to have to be a little bit more patient here and see how the next couple of weeks play out. Who do I think is going to be the next head coach? And, I would love to come out here and tell everyone that I think it's going to be Lane Kiffin. And I think there's a chance. But Lane's going to see how things play out. Saturday is extremely important for Ole Miss. Let me lay it out. And maybe if Florida fans want Lane Kiffin, they should be rooting for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's favored this weekend. Ole Miss is going to Norman, and they're, I think, a 4.5-point underdog. If they lose that game, the Florida Ole Miss game on November 15th becomes incredibly important because Ole Miss is going to be favored in every single game the rest of the way. And if they get to 10-2 and finish the season, there's a really good chance that Ole Miss is in the college football playoff playing on December 19th or 20th. And that makes it really difficult to see a guy like Lane Kiffin be announced December 1st when the season ends. And he's not going to – I have a difficult time seeing Ole Miss allowing him to continue coaching the Rebels if he takes another job. So, but if they lose to Oklahoma and then potentially say Florida goes in and does what they did last year, plays spoiler and beats Ole Miss and drops them and they finish 9-3, making the college football playoff may be a little bit more difficult. And if he doesn't do it with this team, just like you can make the case last year, he could start seeing, am I ever going to be able to get to the mountaintop here in Oxford? With all that said, I think that some of the coordinator names out there are really attractive ones. I think they're going to be head coaches here in due time. Glenn Schumann, Will Stein, Blake Baker, Kirby Moore. Not that I've heard Florida vetted or interviewed any of these guys. Let's pump the brakes there, but I do think they make a ton of sense. Also, I think a guy like Cliff Kingsbury is going to get another chance in college pretty soon here. A young guy has had success, great offensive mind. He makes a ton of sense. And then there's a couple other candidates, PJ Fleck. I know a lot of people don't want him necessarily, but he wins, man. Like he just wins, even though, yeah, and his defense is still good, even though Miami hired his defensive coordinator after last season. If I had to put money down on who I would think would be Florida's head coach, if I had to, gun to my head, make a bet, I would say Eli Drinkwitz. But I think that my gut tells me that most of the candidates you see out there in the public eye are not going to be in consideration in a month from now. I'm convinced, maybe this is conspiratorial, that they've got, or they're going to identify some candidate that is under the radar right now.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting process. So you gun to your head, you got Eli.
Yeah,
Gun,
but I mean, I wish I could say gun to my head, Lane Kiffin. I just think
I'm going gun to my head, Lane Kiffin, and you don't even have to put a gun to my head.
I just
That's how
Lane's
confident
got
I
so
am.
much to. I talked to a couple people who covered Ole Miss this
Don't
week.
don't listen to that though, Graham, because here's the thing. I have Ole Miss ties and I have Ole Miss friends, and that's
Yeah,
look, Lane's the best thing that ever happened to Ole Miss, right?
says
But
Johnny
but
Bott.
but as I've said on here and been blasted by the Ole Miss people, and Billy Gonzalez pointed it out. He called it a patch or logo. I call it the brand. There is zero comparison in the brand.
Oh
And
yeah,
and the reason the Ole Miss program is better than our program right now is because Lane Kiffin. As soon as Lane Kiffin hauls ass, Ole Miss is back to being Ole Miss for the most part.
and I agree with that. But Lane Kiffin, here's just he wants to win more than anything. He wants to win, and I think it won't come down to money. He can move his family again.
Mm-hmm.
His daughter's going to graduate college. His son, would love to come to Gainesville and go to the University of Florida. That's all well documented. But I think if I'm Lane Kiffin, before I consider a Florida offer, if it's offered, I want to know two things. Am I going to have the privacy and the control at Florida, like the brand, where they care so much about the brand? Am I going to be allowed to be myself, be on social media, not do those speaking tours that they make coaches do? Because he's different in person than he is
Oh
on
yeah.
social media. And
Yeah.
you know this. I'm not preaching to you or anything like this, but he's different than that. He's not the spurrier quips nonstop in person. You'll get a couple of those, but he's a little bit different. He wants to know that he's going to be able to be himself. He's going to want to be able to have privacy, whether he's living out in a ranch and in Brookville or Brooker, Florida. He's going to want to have his privacy, and he's going to want to be able to do hot yoga, and he's going to want to be himself. And can you get that in Gainesville? Because it's been so well documented that you lose a game, you can't go to Publix, you got to drive to Ocala, and if you want that anonymity. So he's going to have some questions also about why didn't it work for Billy Napier? Am I going to have unlimited resources because it's my reputation on the line? He's going to want to have those questions answered. I have no question about the brand differences and whatnot, but if I'm Lane Kiffin, I want to know, why hasn't it worked at Florida for the past decade? As many resources
I
and
have the answer to
boosters.
that because
He wants to know. Tell him. Tell him.
you didn't have the right coach. If you there, like I say it all the time, there's phenomenal coaches and then they're just coaches. And whoever's at your school, you hope that guy is going to be that guy, right? Well, we've had two, Urban and Coach. Lane, in my opinion, can be that guy because you see how his style of play. And I hear what you're saying about the privacy. Oh, living in Oxford is totally different living in Gainesville. There's no question about that. But again, the resources aren't even close. And I do think he will have complete control and he can be himself because that's what makes him who he is. That would be like somebody telling Coach Spurrier back in the day, you can't go play golf. You can't, you know, you can't take a jab at Auburn at the podium or take a jab at they let him be himself, and the freaking Gator fans will be excited as hell. That's all
Yeah.
I firmly believe.
Tell him why it hasn't worked. You say,
I know the
hey,
reason why it
Lane, you're
hasn't worked
better than
because
them.
those coaches aren't as good as him, in my opinion.
That's all you tell him. You
Think
tell
about
him
it.
you're
Those
better than the
coaches have all
previous
been
ones.
fired again.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope that is enough convincing that you have a blank check and that's all he would need to hear.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
if I'm him, I definitely have some questions that I would want to get answered before I put
but
my
you
reputation on the
you did
line.
bring a good point. I know for a fact how they, and I talked to JC about this because and you're around coaches, Graham. Coaches think differently than the average human being, and he wants to win. He wants to win at a high level.
Yep.
You have a better chance here than you do at Ole Miss, even though,
He wants to be in that Saban Ryan Day conversation.
yeah,
And will he ever get there? He's a lot of fun. Will he ever be in that conversation at Ole Miss?
I don't think you can be. You could see it on his face, in my opinion, after his press conference against Georgia last week.
Oh, and the guy hates, that's the other thing that Florida fans, that's probably the most exciting, more than the fun social media type stuff. The guy legitimately hates to lose. Makes it's him sick to his stomach to lose. And that's the type of coach, the personality that Florida fans want. Not so much being a winning coach, but someone who literally is sick if they lose.
Yeah,
That's Lane
fine.
Kiffin.
I just and everybody sees it now, but he is so much like Coach Spurrier to me because he's going to have a good quarterback. He's going to have a good offense. He's going to know when to call the right play. He schemes up 2 or 3 plays in a game that you're just like, holy cow. He has outside hobbies. He's not like these other coaches that grind 24 hours a day. He likes yoga. He likes to fish. Coach love to play golf. I just think I think it's a match made in heaven. We shall see what happens. Graham?
And I hope it happens. Let me say
Yeah.
that. That
Yeah.
would be exciting to
I'm very
cover.
confident it's going to happen. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But hey, he's going to have a choice of where he wants to go coach. That's what he's going to do. Let everybody know, y'all got any specials going on to get all the good scoop?
Big one right now for the next couple of days, 60% off. We'll have another one here in another month that is really good as well. If you guys follow the site, we usually do a Black Friday sale. So now is the time to join, though. Over the next month, a lot of information. Zach Goodall did a great job chasing down Marcus Freeman's buyout information. We've been talking to reporters and insiders at around James Franklin and some of the other names out there. So ton of stuff, recruiting content, you name it. And if you're getting ready for basketball season, right around the corner, less than 10 days away, just did a basketball season preview podcast. Check it out. And we got to do this again soon. I'm sure there's going to be a few things to talk about, man.
Graham, good stuff. Appreciate it. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week in Jacksonville.
My pleasure, y'all. Y'all enjoy the bye week weekend.
Yep, that's Graham Hall. Does a tremendous job covering the Gators, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll be here on Monday. Take care, folks.